Hey guys, what is up? My name is Motion Movies and welcome back to another tutorial. Excuse my voice at the moment, I'm a little bit sick, so it might be a little bit croaky. But in this tutorial I'm just going to be quickly explaining and going through step by step on how to motion track straight inside of After Effects using no added plugins or anything. It's just straight inside After Effects, you don't have to get anything external except for just some footage, I guess. But so yeah, we'll just get straight into the tutorial. Before we do, actually, I would really appreciate it if all of you guys could go and follow my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I mean, you don't have to follow all three, just if you could at least look at one of them. I mean, I post on my Facebook and Twitter like updates on what's happening, and it's a lot easier than having to make a random YouTube video for it. Like, just updating you on small things, like if I'm going away or I'm going to be gone for a while. So yeah, if you could go like my Facebook or something. Instagram is just a little bit of fun where I post photos and like sneak previews of my videos that I'm working on. But yeah, Facebook is like the main thing really. If you could like my Facebook, that'd be so great. It'd be so much easier. But without further ado, we'll just get straight into the tutorial, guys. So what you want to do first is you want to find some footage. Now this footage should be like nice and smooth, and I would recommend 60 FPS, but 30 FPS is fine. Anything lower than that probably isn't a good idea to motion track on. 60 FPS is probably like the best. So to import some footage, we're just going to double click in the project panel here, and I'm just going to get this I'll just get this Inferno thing. So once your footage is imported, just drag it down to this little comp reel here, and that'll make a new composition the length of your footage. So I'm just going to go through and find where I want to motion track. I've actually decided before I made this video, so I'll start right here, and I'll probably just end it right here. So that's what I want to track. Just pretend like I didn't do that and I just imported this footage. So so we got this footage here, right? So the first thing you want to think about is actually where you want to track your text. Like, that's the first thing you want to do before you think about anything else. And I just want to track it straight onto this box right here. So this is going to be the point of interest for this track. So this box, I want some text to be parallel to the box, and it's just going to stick to the box throughout the whole clip. So the next thing you want to do is you want to find a point where you can easily see the text. Like here is a good point to stop at. And if you don't already have the tracker window open, you just want to go into window and then select tracker. I've already got it, so I don't need to. It'll show up anywhere in your panels box. Just you know, if you click and drag it, you can drag it to anywhere where you feel comfortable, but mine here is perfect. So once you've done all that, you want to make sure you have your footage layer selected and just hit track camera. Now what this will do is it'll analyze in the background, so you can really go and do anything. Like, you deselect the layer and, you know, like just do whatever you want inside of After Effects. It'll just analyze in the background. Depending on how long your footage is, obviously the longer it will take. Like this one says 5 minutes because it's 357 frames, and it has to analyze every single frame and find points of contrast and make them into points of reference. And you'll see in a second what I'm talking about. I don't want to confuse you just yet, but so yeah, it's going to go through the whole thing and make little points of reference, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But while this is going, we'll just talk about some things that you might have troubles with. So you never really want to track any footage that's over 30 seconds long, unless it's 30 FPS. That should be okay. It shouldn't be a problem. But if you go like anywhere over 30 seconds, usually your computer will have issues trying to like comprehend how many points it needs to make, because in a second you'll see it makes thousands and thousands of points, which you can track off of. And so if you go for 30 seconds long, that's a lot of frames that your computer needs to go through and solve. So I try and keep it under 30 seconds. 10 seconds or 5 seconds is usually a good amount. But you know, you can, yeah, just keep it under 30 seconds, you should be fine. Anyways, if anything goes wrong, you know, feel free to leave some comments down below. I try and reply to everyone and help them out. So yeah, that's basically all I have to talk about for now. It's 60% done, and yeah, I'll get back to you when it's finished. Alright, so now it's done, and you can kind of see, you can kind of understand what I was talking about before, all of these points. So if you don't see these points, it's probably because you don't have your, either you don't have your layer selected, or you don't have this effect selected. So if you can't see the points, just make sure you select your layer and then select the 3D camera tracker, and I'll just bring it up. So if you go and like scrub through, you can see how many points it's created. You can actually track off points in the distance, but they kind of get smaller, and they get like less and less accurate. So tracking on things closer up is a good idea. Now sometimes you won't actually be able to like see many points, and that's probably because After Effects has tried to understand where your camera is in 3D space, and sometimes it has a hard time doing that. So if you can only see like a couple of points and they're really big or really small and they don't like track very accurately, you want to go over to here to shot type and change it to specify angle of view. And if you just mess around with this number, like sometimes, for example, it'll look like this once you've solved your camera. So sometimes it'll say analysis solve failed, right? So you know, it can't even track at all whatsoever. Sometimes it'll look like, let's just go with 50. So sometimes it'll look like this, where the points are really small and the target's really big and they're really inaccurate. And this, see, like all of the points that we were seeing before have all disappeared. There's only a couple of tiny ones. So yeah, you just want to play around this number until you get a good one. But usually fixed angle of view works fine most times. But sometimes if it doesn't, you need to specify your angle of view. Other than that, everything's pretty good. There's a lot of points on this clip, so you know, it should go for a decent track. If you scrub through, you can see that points are disappearing and reappearing. Now, these are points of reference, right? And so you want them to stay in the same position on your object at all times for the most perfect track. Now, these are little points in 2D space where it's trying to make like 3 of these points combined will make up a 3D plane. So see, you can see this point, and this point. If you put your cursor in between these 3, it'll make a target, and then that'll make like a unique 2D plane that should be parallel to your object. This is an example of a bad one right here. So like, see the target, it's not even parallel to the object, which is not what you want. You want it to be as parallel to the object as possible. So these 3 points look pretty good. You know, you want to have a look around and try and find some points that are even better than that one, you know? You want to find the best points possible. But I think these ones are the most accurate. So now, once you've found 3 points, you can either like click on one and make a thing off 1 point, but for the most accurate thing, you can select multiple of them, which, you know, you just put your mouse in between all 3, left click, and then right click, and create text in camera. Now what this will do is it'll create a 3D camera, which is basically mimicking your camera in 3D space. So like where you're looking through, that's what the 3D camera is doing. And then it'll project some text out, and you can see that this is, if I just ran preview, you can see that it's pretty well tracked. It's not too bad. Sometimes the text won't be perfectly parallel. You can either fix that up by like rotating and scaling and all that, or you can just go for another track, and I'll show you that in a second, but we'll just have a look at what this looks like. So yeah, that's pretty alright. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's pretty accurate. So yeah, you can either go back to your footage and you know, find better points and retrack, but I think this one's fine. What we can do is we can just go onto the text layer and tweak it a little bit to make it look more natural. So if you kind of go to the side, you can see that it's slanting through the object, which isn't, like, obviously defies the laws of physics. So you want to make it look as natural as possible. So if you select the layer and hit R, that'll bring up all your rotations. So like X is this way, Y is this way, and Z is this way. So those are all the 3 axes. we're just going to focus on X at the moment because it's, you know, it's leaning back through the object. We don't want that. I'm going to bring it forwards a little bit. I'd say there is probably perfect. You know, that looks a little bit better. Then, you know, we want to move the position a little bit, so we'll scale it first. So have your layer selected, hit S, and I'll probably make it 200. And then we'll just move it by dragging these. You can see the 3 little points here, so we'll just move the X across. So it's, you know, a little bit in the center. Try not to move it too much. Try and keep it to the point of origin as much as you can, but you know, like if you put it like over here, it's gonna look weird because it's meant to be on the box when it's not. So yeah, try to keep it kind of close to where the point of origin is. So that looks good. Now once you got your text how you want it, you can go up here to the text tool and just change what it says. So I'm going to change it to, I don't know, hello. You can make that say whatever you want, obviously. And I'm just going to do a quick preview, see what that looks like. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, it does look like it's kind of inside the box a little bit at some points, so I might need to bring it forwards and out of the box. So do that, just select layer and then use the Z and just pull it forwards a little bit. And it's basically just tweaking it until how you get it like perfect. So you get it exactly how you want it. So we'll just have a look at that. And I think that looks pretty nice. You know, it's really smooth. It's a good track. It's a solid track. It stays where it's meant to be, and it looks natural. So once you finish your track, you want to go to the end of your footage, and you want to go to the frame exactly where you can't see the text anymore. So to do that, if you have the page up and page down keys on your keyboard, they should be directly above your arrow keys. Just keep hitting page down. Sorry for my loud keyboard. Just keep hitting page down until you can't see the text anymore, which is like pretty much here. So once you get to that frame where you can't see the text, you're going to hold down Alt and then hit right bracket, and that'll just you know, make the text disappear beyond that point. And once you've done that, your track should be complete. And I mean, I know you can drag your footage out a little bit longer to have it play for longer, but none of these frames will be analyzed because the camera actually ends there. So you need to, if you want to retrack this place, you can make it like a separate layer and then retrack it. That's only if you want to have multiple text points. So that's pretty much what it looks like. If you want to have multiple text layers in the one track, it's easy to do. You just go back up to camera tracker and say if you want to have like another text on this wall, you know, you just do the same thing. Click in the middle of 3 points, right click, and create text. You don't need to create another camera because this camera is already doing all the work. So, you know, change this one to high or something, and then you can tweak that text or just leave it how you want. And yeah, that'll just stay there. So now you have 2 text layers. You can create up to, or however many points there are, you can create as many text layers as you want. Obviously, again, like I said before, as soon as you can't see this high anymore, you want to remove it from the footage. And yeah, so, you know, as I said before, if you have any problems, just leave them in the comments below. I'll always try and help you out. I thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my social media. Show me some support, guys. I love you guys so much. As always, it's been Motion Movies, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.